Jacinta and them, they were calling for violent action. And people who think that they can ascend to a podium and call on people to be violent must be arrested. Stop calling abantu amakwerekwere, amakurugamba. Pakela, I saw him in Joburg in the morning. In the afternoon, he was in Durban. I said, hey, I'm resourceful, Lamatot. Even we politicians, ANC has to hire a jet for you to campaign in 3 cities. Now, some guy in jail from Nongoma can travel from city to city. When I win elections, I'm going to build a wall between America and Mexico. And I'm going to build it with your money. Nina nizathatha phi imali yokwakhala. Nine problem eziningi kangaka. Our people are correct that our borders are porous. Why is it easy for anyone to come in? This thing is as big as even Donald Trump. He said, when I win elections, I'm going to build a wall between America and Mexico. And I'm going to build it with your money. Nina nizathatha phi imali yokwakhala. Nine problem eziningi kangaka. Our problems are many. Zininzi inkinga. Abantu abasebenzi. Economy is not. You must take billions and build a wall, which is good. But at the end of the day, other parts are going to suffer. I was Minister of Police. I went to Manguzi, Mhlabiyalinga. Look at the border between Mozambique and South Africa. And the problem we're addressing there is that our cars were being stolen here and taken to Mozambique. When you are in Maputo, you see a car from South Africa, stolen. And then you tell the police in Maputo, this is the car we are looking for. They say, we can't take it back. We can't arrest even those people who are driving it. But it's stolen. Those are our cars. So we've got to sort out things. But when you go there, there is no border there. And we are to bring and build a border in Manguzi between South Africa and Mozambique. And people who are determined, running from hunger, they even walk in places where you tell them there are lions there. They walk to come to South Africa. That is what is happening even there. Border management was established to address that particular challenge, and it is doing a fantastic job. That people have got money to mobilize, they can travel. I don't know, these people are using jets or what. Pakela, I saw him in Joburg in the morning. In the afternoon, he was in Durban. I said, hey, I'm resourceful, Lamatot. Even we politicians, ANC has to hire a jet for you to campaign in 3 cities. Now, some guy in jail from Nongoma can travel from city to city. It's a concern, because we don't want our state and our country to be hijacked for ulterior motives. We don't. But that should not be our preoccupation. We are hard at work now to address the very same issues they are talking about. Me and you, we know the truth about the issues that they are addressing. How many undocumented people are in the country? Stats SA says it is not the numbers that people have projected, 30 million, which means it's half of the South African population. Stats SA talks about 3 point something million people who are undocumented in our country. And Risenga, the SG, the Statistician General, has given us that particular data. But others have been saying that there are 40 million people here. 5,000 people when they are marching, you will think that there are many. Take a drone and look at them. You will realize that there are 5,000. That's why we fight as the ANC all the time with the numbers, with the journalists. Because the journalists will just look at you and say there were 1,000 people there. And then we say you are lying with 20,000. They say you were 1,000 max. You were not 20,000 and all of that. And then they start to give you the analogy of this. But me and you and this group, if we get into the street and march, maybe say we are 5,000, we'll make this street look like, if you take especially a view, make people to think that you were many. Imapai Chachalaze, there next to Market Theatre, fill that place and call the cameras, then we'll know you were 20,000. Not when you are running around, running amok, promoting violence, doing anything. Marches were peaceful in most parts of the country, but they were more vibrant in Gauteng and Durban, eThekwini. But everywhere in the country, 170 people were marching. Even in KwaGompo, where a king was installed, the numbers were not as big as that time. And business became business as usual. But the mobilization, we saw it. It was targeting Cape Town, City, Central. It was targeting Eastern Cape. It was targeting all parts of Gauteng. And then KZN. And you were bound to see numbers there. And then in Gauteng, where did it go? Soweto, Johannesburg, Central, and then Ekurhuleni, those areas. And even Pretoria, where we used to have a problem, bigger problem, of a settlement of illegal immigrants, did not explode in terms of numbers and all of that. So local government there and government have done a good work to repatriate these people from Pretoria Central, and they continue to do that. So a lot of work has been covered. So we don't argue with the numbers. The question is, what is it that is being addressed? And that's what we need to attend to. Stop calling abantu amakwerekwere, amakurugamba, all sorts of names. We are not being blackmailed when we are reminded about our history. But equally, we must address the truth and the facts that illegal immigration has become a burden for South Africa and affected South Africa and South Africa alone. We have seen even in papers in Ghana where Ghanaians chasing Nigerians out of Ghana, and the state intervening and proclaiming that all small businesses cutting hair and selling goods in the street are preserved for Ghanaians only. Here in South Africa, we have seen businesses, small businesses, being taken over by undocumented illegal foreign nationals, because our own people can't compete with them in terms of pricing. When he sells a bottle of Coke for R2 and you come and sell it for R5, people go to that shop of a foreign national. And our small businesses, spaza shops collapsed that belong to our people, because they cannot compete in pricing with these people. And some of them had to surrender their business premises to foreign nationals. I was in Hout Bay in Cape Town as a minister of police. I've seen South Africans selling RDP houses to foreign nationals. Not even renting them out. A house you are given by government for free. Because of unemployment and everything of that sort, they do that. So there's no violence and anarchy and disruption of the economy that is going to solve the problem and the challenge of immigration here in Gauteng and KZN. Because people in their very nature, if they are not policed, they tend to be anarchic. What made them in Yeovil to want to raid a bottle store if they are fighting over an issue of immigration? The store was closed. They wanted to break in because bafuna batywala. What does that alcohol have to do with the demand at hand? They could not loot like they did in July because the police were deployed and working overtime. At night here at GP, they were throwing stones. The organizers changed from a violence language to a peaceful thing, which was good. But when they started, Jacinta and them, they were calling for violent action. And people who think that they can ascend to a podium and call on people to be violent must be arrested. There's no negotiation with such people because we're a lawful country. We're a democratic state. Raise your voice, raise your issues, but do not marshal innocent people. More than 4,000 people, July riots, died. South Africans. Died. And they will never come back. These people, if they are shot, I saw some pictures in Yeovil, a person bleeding and all of that being shot. And there was a rumor, which we followed up with the police, it's not clear. A 17-year-old was killed around Hillbrow. We know what violence can do, but nobody says, you don't have a right to. Even if they protest and say the ANC must not be voted, let's give the people the truth. Because theirs is a short-lived victory and misleading our people.